The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Freesports. Welcome to the IPA Champions Cup 2018. It is our penultimate week and we are back in Solihull. Riley's is the venue. These are the fixtures. Dave Adonal versus Toby Bolt. Jack Whelan versus Craig Marsh. One of these four gentlemen will take their place among the final four for the final week of action in the Champions Cup. Finals night next week. It's an exciting evening of pool ahead. The two winners of both those fixtures will go into the quarter-final of the tournament, which will be played tonight, and will qualify through to next week's last four. So, first match on, David Adonal versus Toby Bolt. Toby on the right, David away to the left there. Stephen Jameson and Kev Barton with you on the commentary tonight. And Kev, we've had 19 weeks now, the Champions Cup. We've reached our penultimate week. Quite remarkably so. It's flown by. So many matches, so many players. But ultimately, we are down to 3 and we will be down to 4 by the end of tonight.
Yes, it seemed a long way away 19 weeks ago, but it has flown by, and it seems to have got quicker the closer we've got towards the end. And you know, tonight should be no different to the previous 19 weeks. We're going to see some great pool, we're going to see probably some amazing misses. We're going to see some great excitement and entertainment, and just hope everyone enjoys it back at home or wherever they're watching.
And you can see here the venue is decked out in international flags. It is that time of the year, every 4 years. But if you're with us for the pool, you've made a great decision. We've got 2 matches for you tonight of the highest quality. Toby Bolt knocked out the current reigning world champion Ben Davies on this table in this venue 8 weeks ago.
Yeah, both these players are sort of relative unknowns, but both still great players in their own right, and have come through 2 difficult groups to take their place in this last 16 match. As you said, Toby beat the current world champion Ben Davies in an absolutely great, superb performance. Never mind great, it was a superb performance. David Adonal was equally impressive when he beat 2016 world champion Gareth Hibbert. So both these players will be have one eye on tonight's final, where they know they're going to be up against an ex-world champion, whoever comes through that, because that second semi-final is, well, they don't come much bigger than that.
Toby at the table first. He did make a ball on the break. It's not been too kind to him. It's a scrappy table, this. And it's an opportunity here for the Londoner.
So he's obviously got this area here that is going to cause him a little bit of difficulty. I don't think he can get the one over the bottom left-hand corner. Can you see that one? If he can, then he's going to try and disturb those 2 balls straight away. And he's played that well. Now, this is where things start to get a little bit tricky, and he's going to need some nerves of steel. Doesn't want that white heading anywhere near where that black is. If he just rolls this in the right centre, that white's going to be heading towards that black, so he's going to have to put some bottom on this. And I tell you what, he's played that as well as he could do.
Yeah, really nice shot from Toby.
I think he's got a nice angle to stun the white down behind the yellow into the same bag, and he's played that absolutely superbly. And from a really difficult position at the start of this frame, he's taken these out really impressively.
Would be a great breaking dish, this. Wasn't a gimme by any stretch of the imagination. Not an easy shot. Wobbles in though. This one though is easy, no doubt about it. Polishes it off, and Toby Bolt takes the first leg of this Champions Cup match. 1-0 to the Englishman.
That is a high quality finish. You'd be hard pushed to see anything better than that throughout the rest of the tournament. That was up there with the very best. Made a difficult finish. Couple of excellent positional shots, and that's one on the board.
So next up to break is Dave Adonal. This is what he's been up to in recent months or so on the IPA tour. He's a very, very handy player indeed, is Dave Adonal, as you can see by his quarter-final run at the English Professional. And you can just take a look at the players he's been beaten by to see the sort of level that he's at. He's only getting beaten by some very, very good players.
Yeah, certainly the early part of this year, David has certainly upped his levels, and we saw that in the Champions Cup qualifier when he beat Gareth Hibbert in a really impressive performance, and he's maintained that form throughout the year. And like you say, that quarter-final was the best he's done on the tour so far. But I think we can expect a lot more from David over the coming months. And he's really settling into the professional role.
Well, I was watching David warm up on this table just before we went on air, and he was absolutely crunching in the breaks. And that's no different. He'll be fairly pleased, I'd tentatively say. Looking at yellows.
Yeah, you can see some early adrenaline just pumping through David's veins there. He's just overhit that by a good 6 to 8 inches. Would have liked this to be a lot easier than it is now. It's certainly missable. But he's played it really confidently, and that's what was really impressive in his previous Champions Cup appearance, was the confidence that he played and demonstrated around the table. Wasn't fazed by the occasion, and delivered the goods in the end. But all these yellows go. It's just a matter of working out the best route. Is he going to try and kiss onto the yellow to knock it down the rail? He did. He doesn't want that in.
Come out nicely for him. Might have had a bit of an issue if that had gone into the pocket.
He probably would have liked it to have finished not right in the jaws of the pocket. Again, he's going to need some pinpoint. He may look to play the plant here now. Yeah, a pretty good angle there. Now he needs this yellow to bounce off and not run past that yellow. Oh, he's played that absolutely perfectly. Both these players are just playing at the highest level straight away. I mean, this is really impressive stuff. Pinpoint accuracy on the positional shots.
They're two very, very good players. You have to be to knock out a world champion on your way through in the Champions Cup.
Again, had to play that half ball on the yellow, and he's wasting no time. And what a match we've got here.
Well, we certainly do. One apiece, 2 breaks and dishes from either player, and good to see they've started in pretty rude nick. This is Toby Bolt's recent history. He's got a break to deal with next up. You can see he's an amateur player, Toby. Hasn't been practicing too much. I was having a chat with him earlier. And what he'll be relying on is huge levels of natural ability, which he has in abundance.
Yeah, Toby's quite a regular on the money match circuit. He likes to play for a couple of pounds or so, and he has some pretty good results. But he's a very good player, very good tournament player, and yeah, he's certainly a handful for anyone, as Ben Davis will testify to.
Well, I was actually playing him earlier, and I can testify that as well. My performance wasn't quite up to the level of Ben Davis, though, I will admit. Now, black might be going in. No, stays out. A cruncher of a break, but it's come up dry. And I was actually having a bit of a chat with Toby about this earlier. He was talking about the frustrations of being a pool player. You can see there are loads of balls on the move. 90% of them in the top half of the table. Shows how far they've gone. And not a single one in one of the bags.
That's right, and straight away hands over the advantage to David, who immediately develops his one tricky ball. So now all his reds are in potable positions. The black's a little bit tricky, but he's at the table. He can look to try and develop that a bit later on in this break if he wants to. But he's just looking at his facial expressions. He looks really focused and intense and really up for this match.
Well, it's a great opportunity for either of these players, and a very tough match, of course, this one. And if they get through, they're going to have another very, very tough match in the Champions Cup quarter-final, tonight's final, against either one of Craig Marsh or Jack Whelan. This is a high-quality group. Two former world champions in Craig and Jack. And these two, having already taken out a world champion themselves, will, of course, back themselves to do it again, should the situation require it.
Yeah, I don't think any of these guys are going to be phased who will be playing the final. We've seen that already. So he's got a couple of options how he wants to play this finish. I think ultimately he's going to play position on the black. I think he's going to leave this red here till his last pot, and then just try and screw the white down here to leave the black into the same pocket. So I think he'll probably take the one into the middle first, maybe just screw back a little touch. He's going a slightly different route, unless he meant to just screw back a little bit further, not quite certain. Position is not easy from the red that's in the middle of the rail. He can screw down into an area, but I don't think he can get too close to that black.
Himself a tricky black here.
I think he's going to be trying to look to screw between the gap. So he could try to screw between that gap there, or if he wants to play safe, he can go into that area there. So it just depends how confident he's feeling, how much he wants to push the boat out.
Yeah, I think he's okay with that. It was the safer option. You'll just be able to see the plotting angle.
This is tricky.
Great ticks feet. But it got there. David Adonal takes one against the break and takes a 2-1 lead here in Solihull. And a reminder as to how David did qualify through. He had a tough group up in Chester. Week number 9 of the Champions Cup, overcame Gary Clark in a 6-5 epic. Nearly, of course, didn't make his way through to the next round, even in Chester, never mind here, and then overturned Gareth Hibbert by 6 frames to 4 in a very impressive win in that week's final. And the Isle of Man player was delighted to secure his place. This is how Toby got here. He did it in Solihull, of course. Rob Donkin was dispatched 6-3. Ben Davis beaten in the final by 6 frames to 5. And it was a really, really good match.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, we've got, every week we've got tough groups, but that was up there with the toughest of the tough groups. And yeah, a great performance. I mean, you know, to beat Rob Donkin was a great achievement as well. You know, Rob's no mean player. So
The fabled group of death.
yes, one of several that we've seen over the past however many weeks we've been on the road. So yeah, he's certainly earned his spot, and you know, he's shown the audience that he's more than a match for anyone. Drive from David. Toby's in on reds. Couple of obvious tricky areas. Reds that are guarded by yellows, but you can move one of those on this shot. It'll certainly double, but I don't think he can play the double off this shot. I don't think he can flick that in. A little bit of thinking to do here for Toby. Does he want to go all out for the finish? Does he want to really commit to it, or is he going to play a little safety shot just to bide his time? Yeah, it looks like it's the safety option, unless this can double. Yeah, no, he's playing, keeping it tight. Some players they would have kept going, you know, and really pushed the boat out and kept with the attacking theme. But yeah, there's a lot at stake now for these boys. They're just a couple of victories away from finals night and a chance to get their hands on the trophy and the money. So yeah, he's making his intentions quite clear.
Got to be a little bit careful, both players here, because it's not the most closed of tables. Won't take a lot for either to feel like they can go for it here.
Yeah, I think Toby will be a little bit disappointed with that one. Wasn't quite certain of David's shot the shot before. I mean, he was actually just playing a pretty basic safety shot, but he did put his yellow on the bottom rail as we're looking now. You know, he could have tried to have kept it a little bit more in play, but I think he's going to be tempted to have a little look at these.
You're right.
He's certainly got his potting pants on tonight. He's 17 attempted pots and 17 pots. I mean, that's shows you the mood, the confidence, the form that he's in at the moment. May have left himself a nice angle there to put this yellow nearest the black and just to kiss the white into these two yellows and red nearest this bottom centre pocket. Yeah, you can see he's got the angle there.
Got him out, and I think he's got a shot. That's come out really nicely for him.
Well, that's come out really well, and he's landed absolutely perfectly on his most difficult yellow, which is the one nearest the bottom rail. He's not hampered, no hampering on his cueing. Can just play it plain ball, just run the white through 6 inches. going to take the one into the left middle. Probably just try and screw the white back maybe, or just hold it. Screw it back 2 inches. You could just hold it. Basically just wanted to leave himself as straight as possible on the yellow nearest the right rail. All about this shot. And just giving it an extra few seconds. He knows the importance of this one. Look at the intensity in David's face there. He's really up for this.
Oh, deadly finish from David Adonal. Really, really nice indeed. Not hanging around, which is good to see. He has certainly come to play.
Well, 24 attempted pots, 24 successful pots. 3 frames on the board, no missed pots. 1 breaking dish, 1 reverse dish. The only thing he's done wrong is a dry break. I mean, that's impressive as it gets. And fully deserving his 3-1 lead.
Yeah, totally agree. Toby's not done a huge amount wrong himself, in fairness. Did get a breaking dish in his opening frame. Didn't obviously get a chance on David's, but in the 3rd frame there, well, the 4th rather, did have a chance. And maybe a touch too cautious, perhaps.
Yeah, he tried to, he did try to take the attacking option. He pointed a difficult one into the top right and tried to develop one of his tricky reds. Just didn't come out, and was forced into playing a couple of safeties. And just his 2nd safety was a little bit undercooked, and just left David a sniff, which he took really impressively. And I think he's gone dry again.
And look what he's left as well. It's a frustrating world being a player with a big break like Toby. They just don't always go, and there's often not a lot you can do about it. And for David coming to the table now, it's a gilt-edged chance.
Yeah, I think he's going to look to try and take yellows. If you can see the yellow at the top, on the top rail, and clip it into the top left corner, I think that'll be his first shot. I'm not sure if he can quite get through to it. Obviously not. So he's been forced to take reds. That's quite a clever shot. He's not that red to this bottom right corner as we're looking now, which is in the area of the red that's on the rail. So he's connecting his balls. He's giving himself options to play onto that tricky red that's on the rail. So this is a big shot. He's going to play this one into the bottom left. Now, he doesn't have to develop the red that's nearest the 2 yellows. That does go in the same pocket as this one that he's going to pot now, but he may just see it as a free attempt to move it. Now he played it with lots of left-hand side.
Yeah, span it across the table, back to back, and played it nicely. Although, he might have a little bit of work to do to pot his next ball. I'm not sure he can hold the white on the left side of the table to move on the red at the top end of it, which I think would have been his plan. I think he wanted the white a lot closer to his red on the left-hand side here. And around the house as he comes. That's about as good as he could have got. It's not the easiest cueing, but he's on it. And after running slightly out of position there, he's done well to get back on this ball. It's a really clever shot.
Yeah, so the red nearest the 2 yellows will be his last ball. liked to have been a little bit closer to the cushion. A little bit thinner this one than he would have liked. I think he can probably still hold. So I think is he going to try and use the yellow that's nearest the centre spot on the baulk line to hold the white ball?
He's not on it.
I think he must have been trying to play that because there was... Well, the red does go in the top corners. We just got a glimpse there on the camera. But if that's what he was playing, he was quite a way short. You know, he had another couple of feet to go there. I'm not 100% certain what he was trying to play.
It's a little bit 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, isn't it? If he'd have left it even shorter, he'd have been on it into the bottom corner.
Red in top corner, he's played it.
Oh, goodness me.
Is he going to get a double on the black?
I think he's snookered.
What a superbly improvised shot there from David.
Well, he deserved better, didn't he, from that?
Can he see the black? One of the shots of the Champions Cup we've just witnessed there.
He just had no right to pot it. Look how thin that is. And he used the yellow really cleverly as well to help guide it in. And here we'll see at the end the position of the white.
So he's absolutely blocked by those two yellows.
And the thing is, it's difficult to leave this safe because it's even more difficult now having missed it. Well, this is gift wrapped for Toby Bolt. Doesn't come much more simple than this. This has to go for the man from London.
Yeah, I'm just going to bounce the black out. All the yellows out in the open. Just needs to join the dots, and he'll only trail by the one frame.
As mentioned, I was in a match-up with Toby earlier, just as we were waiting around this afternoon for proceedings to kick off. And let me tell you, when he's round the practice table, as with many of the pros, plays at 1,000,000 miles an hour, runs around. He's already have been gone this afternoon. Taking his time a little bit. That one slid in a bit, didn't it?
He hit that way too thick, left himself a little bit tricky, but he's not one for hanging around, isn't Toby? He's missed it, I think. That's just careless. It was the shot before that did the damage, and he's a fast, fluent player, but I think he was just a little bit too fast there. So, not an easy black, but one that he'll be hoping to get for a 4-1 lead.
And he does. Went top left, could have gone top right, but goes top left, and that's a good lead now for David Adonal. It should be 3-2. David Adonal would still be in the leads, even if Toby had cleared there, but it should be a bit closer. That missed pot, crucial for Toby. And we will see if he can come back in the second half of this semi-final. That's coming up next.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Frame number 6, David Adonal to break, leading 4 frames to 1. Time running.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Welcome back to the IPA Freesports Champions Cup 2018. We've just missed a quick fire frame from David Adonal. A rapid finish from the Isle of Man player. This is the end of that break. And now Toby Bolt finds himself 5-1 down with the break. Has to make a ball. He's made a ball. White stays out. And this is a good chance. Really decent opportunity for Bolt here to stay in the match. And that's all he can do at this stage. Kev Barton just has to stay in there, take it a leg at a time, and just see where he can go.
Yeah, I mean, he's not done a lot wrong, to be fair. He's made one error, one safety error, one pot error, and he's 5-1 down. And this has all been about how good David Adonal has been. He's been absolutely top draw. The only shot he's missed was when he snookered himself on the black after that incredible pot. Apart from that, he's just been clearing up as if he's in a local club. And as impressive performance as we've seen in 19 and a half weeks. There's a nice shot there from Toby. Nothing really for him to be worried about here. Run this through and take either of those two yellows. Taking the one into the right corner now. Just got to be careful with the positional side for the black. Don't think it goes in any of the middles, so he's probably going to take it into the bottom left as we're looking now. He could use the red that's nearest the left centre as a stopper. Just depends how. He could come between the gap. He's played that well.
It should be 5-2. And it is. It's a really good break and dish from Toby Bolt. He'd be really pleased with that. Has struggled at times on his break, but when he gets a ball, quite often he ends up being able to do something with it. This is what we've already seen so far on the Champions Cup circuit. We're well into the second round of matches. We've had 2 at Chester, 2 here in Solihull. These were the 16 weeks we saw prior, and what a brilliant road show it was. Took us all the way around the UK. Washington, it started in Cardiff, Sheffield, Solihull, Chester, back in Wales, and up to Scotland, via the Midlands and Yorkshire. It was a wonderful 16 weeks, a full 4 months, and I can't think where the time's gone.
No,
It seems a very... It seems only yesterday, but also a very long time ago, that we saw Mark Farnsworth win that opening week.
Frame number 8.
yeah, from weeks 1 to 16, we've been absolutely treated to some great black ball pool, and it's been thoroughly enjoyable, and we'll be glad to see week 21, and we can all have a few weeks off before we start the Premier League. But
1 free shot, 1 visit.
in the meantime, that's a mistake from David.
Well, a big mistake as well, and there's no doubt about it. Sometimes the break can very much be luck. That's a mistake, screwed straight into the middle pocket. That is purely, for David's sake, human error, and it's probably the first error he's actually made in this match. And it's let Toby in here, and all of a sudden 5-1 could quite easily become 5-3. Then it's a break, could quite easily become... You see where I'm going with this?
We see it every tournament, every week. Such is the nature of black ball. No lead is big enough in black ball, and yeah, like you say, we could, in the blink of an eye, we could be looking at 5-4. He's not going to be too happy with that. Does that middle yellow go into the corner? Those 3.
I think it's very tight. He may be able to take it up to the top left, but again, it seems tight. I'm not sure he can get the white in a position so he can pot that middle yellow.
No, it doesn't. So he's going to have to get creative. Is he going to do it on this shot? No.
He could screw into them. I think he's going to be just... I don't know if he's got the angle to screw into them, actually.
No, he's got the wrong angle there. I don't think he can. He looks pretty straight. It doesn't look like they go in the top corner or the left centre.
So whether he can force an angle, he may have to here. Looks like he's trying something creative. Or is he? Well, can he cut it? Can he cut this?
Well, if he's cutting this in the left centre, watch where that black's going, because that's going to have...
He may look to play the yellow over towards the middle pocket and swing back around a couple of cushions. But either way, he's going to have to get... I think that's what he's looking at.
I think the shot before, he could have been a little bit more adventurous with the positional play, but that black needs to watch out. What a great pot. What an absolutely superb pot there. He's threaded that through the eye of a needle. That was superb.
Watch the black. His heart might have been in his mouth for a second.
And I think this yellow goes between the gap, which it does.
A little fiddly one. You can see here, Toby Bott when he's in full flight. Lovely player to watch. This is why. So it's going to be 5-3. Made a bit of a meal of that, Toby Bott, but he gets over the line. It's just something in the name. He's used to getting over the line. That's it. Toby, not Usain, takes the win in frame number 8. This is what we saw then over the course of those 16 weeks up and down the country. Some wonderful games, and I'm just going to ask you to pick your highlights out of the top half of the draw. There were some real crackers in the opening rounds of the Champions Cup.
There was, and I think the Simon Ward Mika Rooney game is up there. That had just about everything in it. So yeah, that's my pick from the top half.
And from the bottom half?
Well, there's a few there to pick from. Ben Davis, Andy Lucas was a great game, but
How about that one
Remington
towards the bottom?
Rhodes.
Corey Reese played well, didn't he?
I'm not sure. Not sure in that one. I know my seat was very comfy.
Oh, now, well, we mentioned David Adonal going in off the break. In the last frame, it's just happened to Toby Bolt. We'll just have another look at this. He's a little unlucky. Going off the side, cushioning in. Not once. Getting a slight ricochet off a ball all the way across the table is, well, like he was playing Frogger and he got a really unlucky run.
Yes, and it's all there for David now. Now, if that red that's next to the yellow goes in the centre, I thought he may have thought about reds, but yellows it is. They all go. So this is his moment now to put these 7 yellows and the black and to take his place in tonight's final. What he doesn't want to do is to let Toby back into this match any more than what he has done. So all the momentum would then be with Toby. All the pressure of the world on David. Now he's just got to pretty much hold himself together. I'm assuming that yellow and red that are together. I'm assuming that yellow goes. If not, he may just have to nudge onto the yellow. I'm not sure that yellow goes, so I think he's going to have to try and pop this one in the middle. Just run the white onto it. Can't quite tell from this angle if it goes.
Looks very close. I'm going to err on the side of it doesn't. Does it squeeze past the red?
Yeah, so that yellow there, just can't quite tell if it goes in the centre. I think it probably does.
Oh, it's tight, isn't it? It's a feather. We're about to find out. How it goes.
I bet he's played that. That's one of the worst positional shots he's played. He's still got this yellow into the right middle, but he meant to be onto this one into the left corner. The pressure is starting to mount.
Yeah, just overplayed it. Still got options. Again, not perfect on this one. We sometimes see, don't we? You can always sense a break getting away from a player. The closer it comes to an end, it usually ends in a calamitous missed pot towards the end of the break, which ends up costing frames. I think Adonal has to make sure it's not going to happen to him here.
I think he's going to play into an area here rather than a specific ball. So, somewhere near the centre of the table. I don't think he's on anything. There's a bit undercooked it.
I think he might even be snookered. Definitely can't see the yellow to the left at the bottom of the table, and I don't think you can see a lot of the yellow at the top. It's exactly what I just mentioned. It was one bad positional shot and it's come back to fully bite him in the backside 2 or 3 shots down the line.
Yeah, I think he was just looking to play into an area there. He just wanted to be on anything. But he's a good 6-8 inches is short of where he wanted to be. The referee just looking to see if it's a total snooker.
Total ball. Total snooker.
But that was a little bit tentative. A couple of little tentative shots in this break.
Well, total snooker has been called. And they will know that's 15 seconds to play a shot. One cushion and in. No, off the jaws.
It was close.
Now then, Toby Bolt, how badly do you want to stay in this competition?
It was a good attempt from David.
It
was
was,
only
wasn't it?
a centimetre away. Must have thought that was close when he'd hit it.
Well, this has to go. There's no two ways about this.
It's all going to be about the one up the rail. The bottom rail as we're looking on screen. It's going to take the one into the top left as we're looking there. One into the middle, run the white through. And he's just let that get away from him. I'm not sure he can get on this one now. He may have to play up and down and leave a double. Both players feeling the pressure. He's played it with lots of side.
It's a good shot. I think it was probably, I think it was maybe, what was his intention there? It's a shot, not an easy one. And
Really pinged off that cushion.
it did.
This is not easy. Gonna have to run it through. Play with a fair bit of pace. Oh, superbly cued.
Well, we said if he wants to stay in, he's got to make this, and didn't he just? Superbly done from Toby Bolt, who stays alive in the Champions Cup. David Adonal still seems pretty relaxed, smile on the face of the man from the Isle of Man. And he knows the ball is still very much in his court. Is a reminder of all the finals that we saw. And we see at the bottom there, Jack Whelan and Craig Marsh, right at the bottom of the draw. They took out Alex O'Donoghue and Corey Reese between them, and just above them, Toby Bolt taking out Ben Davies. David Adonal knocking out Gareth Hibbert to set up tonight's last 16 matches.
Yeah, there were some impressive performances in those last 32 matches. Mark Farnsworth got proceedings underway with a 6-0 demolition of Michael Oliver. Ronan McCarthy, Simon Ward followed suit in some sublime performances. Huge break here for David. It's his last break of the match.
Oh, now then, he's made a
He's got
ball.
one. The whites up, and those reds are saying, "Come and pot me."
They are indeed. Well, I tell you what, it's amazing, isn't it? It's probably his worst break of the match, objectively, in terms of the amount of movement he got on the pack, the speed of the balls around the table. But actually, if you look at the layout of the balls here, this is crying out for a break dish, crying out for 6-4. It's crying out for a place in the quarter-final.
I can only see one slight problem, and that's the red below the black. So this red here, it doesn't go into this bottom left-hand pocket. I'm not sure it goes into the top left as we're looking. So he's going to have to get creative. Going to have to play a pretty precise positional shot. Or he's going to have to develop it. Straight away, he's slightly out of position.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not easy from this second shot here. That first positional shot is wayward. He already used his extension, of which he only gets one a frame. On planning that first shot and the execution of it, it's looking down a bit. It's not guaranteed to pot the next ball here.
He may be tempted to take the one. Oh, the top corner one goes, I think.
Oh, it does just squeeze through. Oh, apologies. Looked like he was on nothing for a moment.
But he's still got the problem of that red behind the black. could potentially put all his eggs in one basket and leave it till his last ball to play, you know, a precise positional shot on it. Just a little bit tentative still on some of these shots, certainly in the early part of this match. He was hitting the ball a little bit more authoritatively. And that's why he's having to do a lot more with the white ball.
Well, I think it goes. It does go, in fact, to the left middle. I think that's the only option he's got here. But I'm not sure he's got an angle to make it happen.
You're going to run through. He's going to try and come behind the red. And he's missed the pot because he was trying to put side on it.
Well. Well, he's just put his hand up, so I think he's got a little bit lucky there, yeah. You can see the red's gone over the pocket, which is a big help to him. That's a pain in Toby Bolt's break here.
He was worried about the in-off, he was worried about the side. And those two factors contributed to him missing that pot. Despite the red going over the bag, I think yellows are in a pretty good position here.
It's not easy, is it? But you'd still back Toby Bolt here to take these out. It's there for him.
Yeah, he certainly won't be rushing to pot the one into the bottom left corner as we're looking now. He's going to leave that there as a blocker for that red nearest the black. Could try a skill shot. That's what he tried. He just tried to get a lot of pace, see what he could generate, and if he can put that yellow into the right corner that's in the centre of the baud line, that's not too bad. Could look to play a skill shot possibly. Try and ultimately knock that yellow into the red. That's what he tried. Just misjudged it.
It was very tough though. Very high tariff shot.
Skill shot. He's looking at a skill shot.
Well, if you are a new viewer of black ball, you'll be surprised here. The yellow onto the red. As long as the yellow goes in as well, you can pot that red. That can be in different pockets, it can be in the same pocket. It doesn't like it. It's tough. And he's gone to play safe. Is it safe?
Well, you can see the one into the top left. Does that red go in the bottom right corner? It certainly goes into the bottom left-hand corner now.
Slightly careless one from Toby, I think. He wanted the yellow over the bottom left, and he wanted the white safe. He's got neither.
So if that red goes into the right middle, he can hit this thin and bring the white down. Does it go in that right middle? That must be tight. It doesn't.
Is it the thin?
He's got the thin one. Top right corner. He's missed it.
And he gets another go. Toby, the gamble was just about paid off playing safe. Just about. Again, yellows now all go.
But no easy opener. We can see both players feeling the pressure now. And Toby knows that he's got to keep everything tight, because one mistake and that would be it. But that's a well thought out shot there from Toby.
Yeah, no easy opener, as you said, which is why Toby elected to play the snooker.
He's thinking clearly, not getting carried away. We're looking at maybe 2 or 3 cushions. Oh, that's an excellent shot.
It wasn't a million miles off being the right angle to pot that, of course, which is why he tried to go from the angle he did.
So the pressure's back on Toby now. Ooh. Well, he's got the snooker, but that's definitely swervable. I'm surprised at that shot. I thought he may have taken the bull by the horns. He's going to swerve it, but he's still going to be left with a tricky black, with no obvious pocket. He wants to almost pot this as thin as possible so that the white will have a bit more pace on it when it hits the cushion, and it might just have enough side on to take the black into the left middle. If it had hit that, potted it thinner, then he may have had a chance at that.
Difficult to swerve the amount, though, to get the thin angle, because it was the thick angle that he could see. It's in, and this is all he can do now. It could just be a good old-fashioned hit and Chris, a hit and hope.
Well, cometh the hour. It may well be time.
It looks like he's hitting this hard. Yep, what can we do? Wow.
Oh, he's lost the white.
That's the worst possible outcome.
One free shot, one visit, time running.
And he looked so unflappable in the early stages, David Adonal. Did not make a mistake for such a long time in this game. And Toby Bolt has grinded his way back into this, and he's going to take us to a decider. Or, well, I say that, he should take us to a decider. Leave that at the bottom of the table. There's his free shot. Now the rest of this is routine. Surely it's routine.
Surely it is. Somehow I think it will be. But as we've seen week after week, we just cannot take anything for granted, particularly at this point in the competition. You know, the pressure can fluctuate between the players, shot by shot, and that's not. It's okay, but
looks very straight on this, so looks like he's screwing straight back.
get his arms. There's a little bit of pressure there. He's played that well. He's played that very well under the circumstances. He's just going to run this through about 2 inch, 3 inch maybe.
Well, Toby Bolt was 5-1 down, and all of a sudden he has roared back to take us to a decider. Fantastic work from him. Really, really good. And this is what they're playing for. We still, of course, do not know our quarter-final. It will be one of these two versus one of Jack Whelan and Craig Marsh to play Ronan McCarthy in the semi-final of the Champions Cup next week. The other semi is an all-Scottish affair. Scott Gillespie versus Liam Dunster. This is what the two have been up to. The missed pots have gone up. The pots have gone up from Toby as well. It's been a real topsy-turvy match, this.
Yeah, 4 frames ago there was nothing in the missed pots column and nothing in the fouls column for David Adonal. And all of a sudden this match has just turned on its head, and you know, David's had his chances. He's had 2 absolutely superb chances to close this match out, and It's just got away from him, and it's turned round so quickly, and now Toby's breaking for the match. What a great match we've been treated to. And where's the
Oh, would you believe that? Well, I was just about to say, actually, he went for the cut break, which is not his
One free shot,
routine
one visit,
break.
time
He's had a
limit.
few issues with the break in this match. And he'll be thinking, that is typical. Kicked in. It wasn't a great break either way. I don't think he can be too upset. The best thing he could have hoped for there is to not leave David a pot. But he will be bitterly disappointed. It's not an easy table.
They're not dollies. There's work to be done. Whoa, well, that's come out pretty well. So I think he's going to be going for reds. I think there's just one problem, red. Yeah, it's the red nearest the black again, as it was in the last frame. So it's just how's he going to approach that? He's got to develop something.
This isn't a gimme.
Yeah, this red nearest the black. It's going to give him. Well, it goes in the middle. Look, you can see from that camera angle. Goes in the middle. That will be his last red. So we can see his. You can see what he's thinking.
Had to force the angle a little bit there. That's why the wobbled a bit on its way home, but there you can see clear path to the middle pocket.
Yep, so he's going to take these two reds into the in the middle pockets, and then this red into this right hand corner, and just to bring the white down here into that area there to leave a nice little rolling of the red into the middle pocket. That's not a great positional shot there. It's betwixt and between.
Well, he's going to have a real... He can't hold the white if he goes into the red in the middle pocket, so he's had to reroute. He'll come back up.
Yeah, it's a good shot. So he's had to reroute because of that poor positional shot. He's going to bring this one down off two rails. A little bit of right hand side. So it's all about the pace. This is about controlling the emotions under the pressure. The most amount of pressure probably he's ever been in his pool career. It looks good. That's not bad. It's not bad. He's just got to roll it in. All he's got to do is focus on the pot. Whoa, wow. I think he's on it.
A bit tighter than he would have liked. I
Yep.
think that's safe to say. Does it go? It's
It looks
delicate.
good.
It's there. Is he on the black? Yes, but it's not easy. Leaves it long to the top of the table. But David Adonal with a shot for a place in the quarter-final of the Champions Cup. Oh, he's just going to take his time.
The biggest shot of his life. He's missed it. He's missed the pot.
Well. Incredible. Incredible. Just amazing what pressure can do in moments like that. And now Toby Bolt with a totally clean table. He's just going to leave that yellow over the pocket.
Yeah, played the safety there. He's got two tricky balls. I mean, the one nearest the bottom centre, I think that will go quite easily, but the red, the yellow on the top rail, that's an issue for him, so he didn't want to take any risks, but what Can David pull out the bag? Where's the white? Where's the black? He doesn't want the black down there.
Well, it's a hit, which means Toby doesn't get his free shot that he was after. There's the miss again. Wasn't too close in the end. It's clear it wasn't going in from the moment he hit it. And again, I think he's played that as a safety.
Well, he's left David a shot. Obviously nothing easy, and it requires a bit of luck, but you know, is there a 3-cushion shot on?
What are you thinking? What's the great mind thinking here?
Something, I'm not sure if it's on. I'm not sure if you can see it.
He almost did the inverse of that, didn't he? It's still another hit, so Toby not getting things all his own way, but he's been able to manoeuvre some of his yellows, and this is going to be the hardest one to get out of.
This is really clever from Toby. You know, he's shown another side to his armoury tonight, and he's not got too carried away and gone for the finish too early. He's been prepared to bide his time, wait for the right moment, and that moment could be coming up on his next visit if he can extract the foul from David. Looks a good escape though. What a great escape!
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see Toby go game here, just because.
Yeah, I think
not
he's
the
got to do.
easiest to guarantee a snooker here, and with the black so close to the pocket, it's a risky one to let David hit it. So he takes one over the pocket, and I think he may well, having said that, lay the snooker on here. He's being safety first, and I think that's understandable.
No, he's going for these. He's going. Everything goes. The one nearest the middle bag, he'll use that to develop the one on the left cushion. It's all there for him. Oh, he's missed the pot, but he's got away with it. Wow.
Wow.
Total snooker.
What a stroke of luck there for Toby Bolt. Did he miss many of those against you earlier?
Confirm 0. Now, David Adonal can sneak.
He's not clipped it in. Oh my goodness.
Gracious me. Well, a big smile on the face of David Adonal. If that had got him a place in the quarter-final, well, you can box off shot of the tournament. That was nearly outrageous.
How has that not gone in? That is incredible.
Toby Bolt's got away with one. Got away with one. Can't mess these ones up. Surely. Surely there isn't another twist. Surely not more drama. There's only so much we can take.
Is he going to try to move the yellow that's on the rail? He is. He's not done it on this shot. Is he going to try and do it on this one? Anything could happen. I think this frame has absolutely everything in it. Does he want to take the risk of moving it, or does he want to play for a double? I think he's going to move it. It's got a nice angle. He's put too much side on it, and now he's in absolute no man's land. He's got a thin clip with this one into the top right, but anything could happen now. It's just who can.
I think all he's got to take on is the thin clip and lead the ball at the top end of the table.
Doesn't want it in. I think he may have been trying a safety there. Sort of hit it a third ball, bring the white down to this end.
Out, please.
but he's potted it, and now he's in a whole world of trouble.
Well, I thought he might have looked to play it at quite a pace, catch
Oh,
it thin,
snooker time
and
running.
move the white to the top end of the table, and maybe look to take on the double. But now, he's only got this. Total snooker has been called.
What can he pull out of the bag? Where's that yellow going?
Off the jaw, and the black's on, and surely now it's all over. Surely now it's all over.
What on it?
At the end of a ridiculous frame of blackball pool, David Adonal wants a simple black to finish it. Makes no mistake. Well, what a game. What a remarkable game between these two. David Adonal squeaks through to the quarter-final of the Champions Cup, and goodness only knows how.
Well, for me, that was match of the tournament. That had absolutely everything in it. David Adonal started off like a train. He was just taking out clearance after clearance. All of a sudden, the pressure got to him. Toby came back at him, and that last frame, well, that just had absolutely everything in it.
We'll hear from David, and we'll have our next semi-final. It's all coming up next.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Go.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Well, welcome back to Solihull, and what a game we've just witnessed with the winner now. That was painful to watch at times. What was it like to play in?
Even worse.
Talk us through that final frame. What was going through your mind? Did you think when you missed the long black, did you feel like that match had gone away from you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I thought I played well at the start of the match, but it's just not meant to be. And sometimes you get them nights and you just got to accept it. But yeah, I'm not quite sure how I got over that last frame.
And there was so many different twists and turns in that last frame alone. Before we even start to talk about the rest of the match, the shot you had, the reverse double into the middle pocket that nearly went in, nearly shot the tournament. It just had everything. Can you describe your emotions when everything feels like it's going against you? Is it just a case of hope that you come back to the table?
Yeah, pretty much. 5-1 up, I didn't miss much to get them 5. Maybe a few things that could have gone wrong went for me, so that kept me on course. And then after that, it was just a matter of hoping that I get another chance. Although you only need one frame, you still need a chance, and I ended up taking a few more than just one in the end, but thankfully I got through.
Well, you got there in the end. You're in tonight's final against either one of these two who are about to play next. You're in for a tough game, but I imagine in terms of mental tax, it can't be worse than that.
You never know. Yeah, anything can happen in this game, so it could be any kind of game. So it's all on chances. So hopefully the chances come my way. Hopefully I'll play like I did in the start of this match. So.
Well, no match in this tournament has epitomised anything can happen in this game quite like that one. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.
Welcome back. That was quite the match. I think we've all just about got our breaths back. Never mind David Adonal. It was a crazy match to watch and commentate on. Never mind play in. And we hope the next one will be just as crazy. We have two of the very best players in the business here. Craig Marsh and Jack Whelan. Both have been world champions in recent years. They both collide in the last 16 of the Champions Cup.
Yeah, this should be an absolute belter of a match. Two of the biggest names in the sport, as you say, both ex-world champions. Jack Whelan 2015, Craig Marsh 2017. Both elite top draw players, and this should be an absolute belting match. Hopefully it won't be like the last match, because we've only just recovered from that. But just have to have a quick lie down just to get over everything that happened in that match. But I think we'll see some clinical, precise flat ball pull over the next 30-40 minutes.
We'd expect it from two players as good as this. Craig Marsh was excellent in week 3 in Cardiff, overcoming Corey Reese in the final there, 6-4. And Jack Whelan played in this venue actually in week 7 here in Solihull, took out Matt Ward and Alex O'Donoghue to get to this stage. And I know for many neutrals and many viewers at home, this match is the one that everyone was looking forward to tonight. Two of the most exciting players to watch as well. They both play aggressive, Paul. They're both so highly talented. And I know for quite a few people, they think the winner of the entire tournament may come from this match.
It could well do. It could well do. It's as soon as the draws were evolving for the latter stages, this was certainly one of the top 2 or 3 standout matches, and yeah, we've all been licking our lips at the thought of this match. 2 of the biggest players in the game going head to head. This is what the Champions Cup is all about.
Something David Adonal alluded to in his interview there. Just got to take your chances and hope the chances keep coming. Sometimes there's nothing you can do as a ball player. We saw that last week when we saw 2 of the best in the business collide, Ronan McCarthy and John McAllister. John McAllister beaten 6-1 in that match and couldn't really do an awful lot about it. Sometimes it just doesn't quite go your way.
That's right. You know, this could be 6-0 to either player in 20 minutes if the balls ball a certain way.
Still open table. Nothing right saying, or is it yellow? My apologies, Kev. Oh, that's why we have you here. Never in doubt the rules when the president sat next to you.
Thought I was here for the glamour.
No, absolutely not.
But when Jack won the World Championship in 2015, what was most impressive for me was the way he was breaking, and he was regularly putting 2s and 3s from the break and making his clearances so much easier. And I think it's fair to say he's not quite hit the heights of that form from 2-3 years back. But the
performance he put in the Champions Cup though was reminiscent of the Jack Whelan that won that world title. Probably for the first time since.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen it in some of the tour events, and no doubt we'll see some of the results from the tour later on in this match. And he's certainly finding some form. There's no doubt about that. But even his B game is often too good for most players. So yeah, he's always going to play at a very high standard. And Craig Marsh, obviously, 2017 world champion. And what was impressive about that world title was that he'd been beaten in the final the year before by Gareth Hibbert, and to come back 12 months later and take the title was pretty impressive, I must say. And he's one of these ultra talented Welsh players who just born with a gift to pop balls.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
Yes, there is. Simon Webb will testify to that.
And you as well, of course. I remain the only member of the commentary team who's not been beaten in the Champions Cup, so
just slightly underscored that one, did Jack, but I think he can just drag this in. He can just leave himself a little thin one into the middle. He doesn't have to worry too much about the white. That's not going near the corner bag. Just 100% concentrate on the pot.
And there it goes, terrific frame there from Jack Whelan. That's what he's capable of. It wasn't an easy break and dish that, but he made it look easy, and that's the mark of a good player. Never ever looked like missing. And here's the recent record that you alluded to, and Kev, he is starting to produce on the big stage again. Couple of quarterfinals and a semi-final in recent months, and he's looking ominously good.
Yeah, he was a fairly quiet by his standards, 2016, 2017, but certainly in the early part of this year, it's been evident that you know, he's back to his best. Some great performances, and you know, no disgrace losing to Mark Boyle and Jordan Shepherd in the quarters and semi-finals respectively, and Greg Barton as well. You know, great players. Mark Farnsworth as well there. I think he did get revenge on Mark later on in one of the other events. But yeah, the results tell the story. Craig Marsh to break, probably got one of the biggest breaks in the game.
You can say that again.
Didn't quite give that everything, but still plenty.
Yeah, and you'll see it is one of the biggest in the game, but it's not all about giving it the hammer, it's the technique as well. And few players get as much movement on the balls as Craig manages, and he's got a bit of an issue here. You can see the top of the table is congested, and he's just trying to use that excellent full brain of his to figure this one out.
He's not got much choice but to go for reds. Probably look to pop the one into the top corner and just try and develop those two. They're tied up. It's not too bad. Such a clinical potter, Craig Marsh. One of the best potters in the game. Such a great cueist.
One of those players that just looks like the cue's another part of his body. So natural.
Yeah. It's so easy. Makes it look so easy. That's the thing. The sign of a great player. Just that easy style, and gets the reaction on the cue ball with very little effort, 'cause it's all about the timing. He's had to wait a lot of weeks to play his next match. He was it week three that he won in?
It was a long time ago now. 17 weeks ago. Right back at the start. He recently finished the World Championship.
Drop this one in, and the white through the gap. Played that well.
Just has an air about him, Craig Marsh, which it's just a confidence that he exudes around the table. Never looks like he's going to miss a ball.
Yeah, he just about got away with that one. He definitely overhit it, and a different contact on that yellow could have left him with no shot. However, he's okay. Oh, he's missed it.
Just as we were saying it.
He may have got a bit of a kick there. That looked like a bit of a kick. Did look like he just got a little bit of a kick there. Give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, does Jack go straight for these? It's not easy, but it might be here for him. This shot might be the key.
Yeah, he's going to take the white off the cushion just to hit that first yellow, just to leave himself on the other yellow. The frame at his mercy now.
There's the missed pot again.
Yeah, it did look like a kick, and I think Craig's reaction tells us it was a kick.
Squeezes that one in. A little bit too close for comfort to the edge of the pocket there, but it was nicely played in the end.
He's had to slow down. He's just about okay. I think he can play it plain ball. If he's in any doubt, he'll just put a little bit of bottom. Take that white ball away from the middle bag, which he does successfully.
Great chop. And that's a real big win for Jack Whelan. 2 frames up now, and Craig Marsh has let one go. Here we see what Marshy's been up to in recent weeks and months, and he's been in decent form, as he tends to be. Quarter-final appearance at both the Welsh Professional and indeed the English Open, beat by Jordan Shepherd and then Neil Rayburn respectively. And no shame in either of those. Jordan Shepherd can beat anyone on his day, and Neil Rayburn's been one of the form players in the world in 2018. Had a good run in the World Championships, where he's looking to defend his crown, where he's defeated by eventual semi-finalist, I think, in Christian Phillips. I think I'm right in remembering.
I think Craig will be, he's been consistent, but I think he'll be a little bit disappointed that he's not been in the winner's circle a little bit more frequently. I think after he won the world title, there was a little bit of a reaction to it in terms of, you know, his form did dip a little bit, and but again, he's another of these players. You know, he's qualified for the new Premier League, which we'll be seeing on Freesports over the coming weeks and months, which we'll be no doubt talking about. Starts on the 17th of July and features 9 of the best players in the business. So he's got opportunities to try and get back in the winner's circle. So he's been consistent there or thereabouts. He's always going to be, you know, a tough player to beat. But, I think he would have liked to have seen a little bit, like to see himself go a little bit deeper in some of the events.
Premier League on Freesports will be an exciting addition to the pool calendar. Gets underway on the 18th of July on Wednesday. Wednesdays replacing Mondays as the home of pool on Freesports, and that applies for the final of this event as well. It is next Wednesday, not Monday. So those who set your calendars, move them on 48 hours. Jack Whelan's positional shot has left him a bit out of position. He's far too close to that yellow. Didn't want to be behind it. Easily done, but a mistake nevertheless.
Yeah, I don't think there's much value in the safe beat, so I think he needs to take the bull by the horns. He's going to try and
Extension, please.
He scored his extension. The shot clock has just almost irritated him into doing that. It's a really tough shot, this. Doesn't want any potential distractions. Difficult cueing. Has to do a bit with the white, and it's a tough pot. High tariff on this.
yeah, just play in or over, and it's in.
Very nicely played.
Yeah, it's very clean. So his options now, is he going to take the bull by the horns? He's got the problem of the black, so he's got to move it. Unless he wants to leave himself a double at the end, but could look to move it, but he's taking a chance with his position. It looks like he's taking this top left and running the white up. It's not quite got there.
He's almost trying to pot his way out of trouble here, Jack Whelan, and he's finding it difficult. Didn't want to hit that red. And I don't think you can see the potting angle of the yellow to the left as we look at it from our main position here. So I think he's going to have to play safe.
Going to try and screw the white in behind. I think he's going to try and screw behind the yellow. He was looking at a back double as well. So he's left these open now for Craig. Straightforward, but it's a chance nonetheless.
He's got an issue here with his red that's near those two yellows. I think it squeezes past them. Yeah, it does. So no issue, and this should be pretty straightforward.
Gonna come behind the black and flick it out.
That's the play. There's the red definitely passes.
He's had to slow down. He's overhit it.
He's overhit that by a long way, and you can only attribute that to the being caught out by the pace of the table, I think.
Yeah, I think so. He can still clip this in. He's just got to play with lots of right-hand side. That's a great pot, and this white's going to come perfectly for the red. Fantastic shot.
Well, that's why he's one of the best in the business.
Drills that down the rail, no problem. Easy black.
And this time it's Craig Marsh jumping on the opportunity in the frame. Jack Whelan did the same to him in the last frame. Now Craig Marsh exacts his revenge. It's 2-1. This is how Jack Whelan qualified. He did so in Solihull in week number 7 of the competition, taking out Matt Ward and Alex O'Donoghue. 6-4, 6-2, was in superb form all the way through that group.
Yeah, that was a good win against Matt Ward, because Matt Ward was the local qualifier, a lot of support, so Jack was up against it. Came through.
And Craig Marsh got over Greg Batten, which was a very tough round 1 game, and Corey Rees in the final of the Cardiff leg, the week 3 Cardiff leg in the Champions Cup.
Time running.
How's that gone dry?
To read into the mind of Craig Marsh, that's what he's asking.
A little bit frustrated is Craig.
Extension, please.
And you see there the frustration.
for Jack to really spend any time on is this yellow here. Well, I don't know if Jack is thinking about this, but he could play this yellow into the top right hand corner. He could try and play it off the red, and the reason for that is that it could then free up that tricky yellow that I just highlighted a second ago. Would free it up into that bag, but maybe he doesn't need to play it, but you just slightly overcook that one. His problem is the yellow that I highlighted, and he's just got to work out how we can. Wow, what happened there?
Well, a shake of the head from Jack Whelan. Let's have a look at this.
I like to see Craig Marsh's face.
Well, I'm not sure we can exactly say what Craig Marsh
I think he said wow. I think he said wow.
Yeah, something along those lines.
In Welsh. And I think he can play, he's got the perfect angle to play this yellow off the red into the corner. He's misjudged it.
It's a tough shot.
Probably had a guilty conscience. Well, that was incredible.
He's annoyed having got the little bit of luck.
I can only put that down to the spin on the white ball. That's just I can't really explain it. There's no logic.
Well, we had a couple of those in this Champions Cup. I remember one. Sometimes happens in the mid. It tends to be the middle pockets it happens in, but we did have a ball go all the way into the pocket, go into the drainage system of the table, go to the bottom of it, get re-racked, and then come back out. And that's what's happened there with that white. Good Jack, incredible. There we go. Watch this. You see the dip on the ball. It goes into the pocket to come back out. Well, it did. We know that. We did see it before. Okay, should fire off the rest of these. Pretty straightforward.
Just have to be careful of the one down the rail. Don't expect him to miss it. Straight as you like into the pocket.
And straightforward on the black as well. It's going to be 2-2. This match has really ebbed and flowed. It's been a very, very interesting match so far. A little reminder of one of the crazy moments of the frame.
It didn't quite go to the bottom of the bag. I think it hit the left and the right hand side of the pocket.
Either way, there's the stats so far, and at 2-2, no great surprise to see very even. Having said that, Jack Whelan with 24 balls potted, which shows he's really been in the frames that he's not won.
Yeah, I think out of the two, Craig will be the happier. I think Jack will be a little bit disappointed he didn't take advantage of his good fortune. I would have expected to get that little combination shot. But, that would have given him a little bit of daylight in the match. But, great break.
Yeah, terrific break. Really good that from Jack, and he's got a chance here. Just one yellow in.
Is that right inside? No, no. Yeah, Jack was just trying to develop that yellow. It's nearest the red because it didn't quite go in this bottom corner bag. It's not worked out, and he's not got easy options, so he may play safe. The danger with that is that he just hands the table over to Craig. Craig's got a difficult red, but as we know, these guys are the masters at developing difficult balls. Could even do it on this shot. Slightly misjudged it. And, left himself anything easy. I think it's going to be a rarity. It's going to be a Craig Marsh safety, or is he going for the double? For the double.
Slight bit of a shot to nothing. He was left the white pretty safe, and he would have been on his next ball. Did play that with a little eye for the safety in mind.
He did, but if Jack can drop this one into the left middle. The frame's at his mercy. This is a tricky little shot. No. Not easy shots, those. I think he would have expected to get it, though. That was the key to the frame, was that shot. And now he's let Craig in. Focus for Craig is to get position on the one on the top rail. I want to be too straight. He's got a nice bit of angle there. He can play this one of two ways. He can just run the white through, or he can a bit of bottom on it and bring the white back to the side where Craig is at. There's the less risk way. He's left himself perfect. These two out for a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, it's been a very nip and tuck match this, between two of the very best players around. Every missed opportunity has then been duly punished, and no greater example than Craig Marsh there, taking a 3-2 lead into the break, and it could hardly be closer. There we go, the stats into the interval. Ball spotted, just one between them, and just one between them in the frames as well. It's Jack Whelan who trails Craig Marsh as we go to a break.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Frame number 6, Craig Marsh to break, leading 3 frames to 2. Time running. Time out. Sheldon snooker, time running.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Welcome back to Solihull IPA Freesports Champions Cup action. Jack Whelan taking on Craig Marsh in the last 16. It's Jack Whelan at the table after Craig Marsh had the chance. And didn't he have the chance? This was 6 reds in for Craig Marsh. Red goes in. Wants to be on the black. Snookered on the black. And he's not going to hit it, so what an opportunity this is for Jack Whelan to square things up. He's got a shot and a visit here. The yellows look handy.
Certainly threatened the centre bag on its travels. The story of the frame in a nutshell: Craig broke. Nothing easy, but pulled out some great pots and gave himself a chance of the frame. And as you saw there, just didn't quite get the positional side correct on the final black. And all his hard work was undone. Jack with a perfect opportunity now just to tie things up. 3 frames all.
It could be simpler here, and we saw a decider in our first semi-final, and I imagine the odds are starting to shrink rapidly for a decider in our second. Here's a reminder at what they're playing for: a place against Ronan McCarthy in the semi-finals of the Champions Cup. Scott Gillespie versus Liam Dunster. Ronan McCarthy versus TBC next week, Wednesday, 7 o'clock on Freesports. The winner of both of those semis goes into the final and will be crowned the Champions Cup winner 2018. We've already got 3 of the very best players around in there. Could easily have a 4th as well.
And will we see an Englishman in the last 4? 2 Scots, a Northern Irishman, chance of an Isle of Man, or Welsh or English to take that 4th spot. I'm not sure what you call somebody from the Isle of Man. Are they Manx? Manx?
An Isle-Manian? Isle of Manish?
Must brush up on my geographical skills, but up to the action and got to get us underway in frame 7. Looks back on his shot. That is really unusual. That is just making sure everything's lined up correctly. But it's certainly unique. I've not seen any other player do that before.
Well, he's feeling every moment, isn't he, out on the table. And I think he's frustrated because yellows are the obvious ball, but the red's blocking the black.
Yes, I think he's pretty much forced into reds. Saying that, I think he's taking the straight yellow.
Extension, please.
The yellows are definitely the better choice.
I'm not sure
in terms of to pot the yellows, but it's the black that he's concerned about. Difficult, well, near impossible to get on. Has to move it. He goes yellows.
It's a nice crisp pot. So it looks like he's going to try and move it on this shot. Has he got enough angle? This one into the top left. He's going to give this a bit of pace. And that's come out pretty well. I'm pleased with that one.
Yeah, brilliant shot. That's why he's one of the best around. Terrific shot that. Could easily have not gone right, that. There was an element of trusting to luck. But the red has vacated the pocket. The black now hovers over it. And now it's the simple task of potting these yellows. And he still has one to worry about. There is a yellow tangled in the two reds. And he could look to break into that now if he wanted to. The yellow over the middle pocket.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that shot he's just played there. I think he wanted to do a little bit more with the white ball. I don't think there's any value in leaving this yellow at the top end of the table.
Oh, eventually he'd look to get on that yellow off the one over the pocket. It's exactly what he's played, but it's not quite worked out for him.
No, just didn't quite judge the cannon correctly, and now he's in a little bit of trouble. I think it does double. It's not easy. I think that's where he's going to have to leave. Leave the double, and he's going to have to try and screw the white round to get back up for this red into either centre pocket. This is high tariff stuff.
This is a really, really tough shot. Huge if he gets it though. White's
Double was
in.
good. Oh, what a shot!
That's superb. That really, really is superb. As good as it gets, that from Jack Whelan. And if ever a shot deserved to win a frame, it would be that. A simple yellow should be followed by a simple black. Make it all three.
He couldn't just drop the yellow in, he had to spin that white round off a couple of cushions to guarantee position on the black, and played it absolutely superbly, and that is a real confidence boosting finish there from Jack Whelan.
Well, let's take a little look back at the shot which won him the frame, no doubt about that. Double was good, but to screw around the two cushions and to get himself on the next yellow, that's a really special shot.
Yeah, didn't overhit it, just played it at absolutely the right pace. Was confident where the white was going, so he played it at the right pace. So Jack's second break and dish there just nudges him ahead, 4-3. Couple of missed pots each. But not much in it. But that break and dish stat is really the only real difference between the two.
It's rare after 7 frames of pool that Craig Marsh doesn't have a single break and dish.
Yeah, and that'll be frustrating him, no doubt. Yeah, he's given that a little bit extra this time, but I think he's still coming up dry.
Yeah, you can see the reaction. It's gone for the cue. Shake of the head. Hand in the air. And he's not going the Welshman's way. He's caught that sweet as a nut. Balls flying around everywhere. And sometimes it just isn't your frame.
The pool gods decide that you're not potting from the break. And you're not potting from the break. And this is a big frame now. If Jack can get 5-3, it'll be the first time there's been 2 frames between them. And he'll have at least 2 breaks to try and win the match.
That is a quietly quietly angry Craig Marsh, and he's frustrated. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do as a player. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the break he's played there.
No, there's certainly nothing wrong with Craig Marsh's break. It's just one of the frustrations of the game sometimes when it's going your way. It's the greatest game in the world. The other side of that is that it's also torture when it's not quite going your way. But at the end of the day, your opponent's still got to take the chances out, and that's what Jack's going about doing. We'll just drop this in with a little bit of left-hand side, just to white off the cushion in the right place for the yellow. Just going to show that white can thread between those two reds. So spin on those dots. And you see it played perfectly.
He's played very, very well as Jack. He's been at the table far more than Craig. And he's handled the table a lot more. Oh, that didn't come back anywhere near as much as he was expecting. He's absolutely crunched that in. And he's going to have to cut it. Wanted this to be a bit easier. This is Bidley. And he's missed it. And he's missed it. And that all came from not leaving himself simple on it. You can't believe it. And I think all that's happened there is, as he's played the shot before, it's the shot before that's cost him, and he's played the red, he's hit it so hard, so you'd expect the cue ball to move. I think he's just dropped the cue right at the last possible moment, put it a little bit lower than he expected, and it just has not bounced off the cushion.
Yeah, could well have done. He almost hit it a little bit too hard. He would have got possibly more reaction by just playing it a little bit softer, but it was hard to tell the angle that he had. If there was any doubt, he could have just run that white through and taken the black into the right centre. So yeah, it's a little bit careless. I think that's all we can say. He definitely had options there. How big a moment could that be in this match?
Four beckons.
5-3 would have looked very good to Jack Whelan.
Not where he wanted to be though. He wanted to be on this red on the bottom cushion here. He's not. I don't think he'll take the thin cut on. He might just have to reroute here. He's safe in the knowledge that the black is gettable from anywhere on the table, which makes this a little bit easier for him.
Yeah, I think I fancy you to pot that black, JMO. But he'll just drop these two reds in the middle. And it's just all about position on this last red.
Right, praise indeed, Kev. Appreciate it.
Looks good.
Yeah, it's perfect. Red's in, and you have to imagine that the black will follow it. Craig Marsh to tie things back up for a piece. Nip and tuck, to and fro. It's 4-all. Of course it is. Did you expect anything different? Well, Jack Whelan did, that's for sure. But that frame, which looked as if it was Jack's to lose, well, it was Jack's to lose, and he did lose it. gave it away.
I think the way I feel this match has gone, I think Craig will be absolutely delighted to be 4 frames all. Jack's dominated, but somehow he's hanging in there by hook or by crook, and it's a best of 3.
It is indeed, and next week we have fireworks for you on Freesports, the grand final of the Champions Cup. It's live next Wednesday, the 4th of July. Special day in America, and it's a special day in England as well, although we might not have an Englishman in the competition at that point. It depends on what these two gentlemen right here can do. But Scott Gillespie will take on Liam Dunster in our first semi-final. Ronan McCarthy will take on the winner of tonight in our second. Whoever's through, David Adonal, Jack Whelan or Craig Marsh, it will be a great semi-final against one of the most informed players on the planet.
And he's gone dry.
Well, when it doesn't rain, it pours in pool. And Jack Whelan cannot believe his last couple of minutes.
Yeah, he took a little bit off that break, didn't give it as much as the previous ones, and he may live to regret that, because this is a pretty good chance for Craig. There's not too much traffic in his way. To the bottom corner, he's straight in on it. He may just fancy that one to clear it out of the way.
That's what he's looking at. He's standing against it. Still might take the option on. He's just swinging around. Up and makes his way down the table. And that's the thing, when you've got these two players who do have two of the very best breaks around, we mentioned they're very good players and they're two of the best players, they do have two of the very best breaks of anyone, and when you don't make a ball on a break, it can leave opportunities like this. But Craig Marsh cannot believe that he's not going to punish Jack Whelan. He's left himself snookered on his final 2 balls. Would you believe it?
Well, the way tonight's gone, I think yes, I would. It's
well, yeah, quite.
it's an incredible error, really. I mean, he's got so much room to play the white ball in. It's just a complete misjudgment. And yeah, he's a little bit unlucky just to hit the red as he did and to leave himself nothing, but you know, he should have been a good 12-18 inches away from that red. So yeah, another twist in this match. Can he pull something out? One thing these Welsh players are good at is just pulling out, improvising.
It's a swerve. The swerve. Billiard shot.
Did that hit a cushion? Just called a foul as our referee, Viv Rusco.
Well, Jack Whelan, he felt aggrieved at the end of the last frame. He felt aggrieved at the start of this one, and it's got a funny old way, this sport, of making amends for you. This is the foul. Remember, ball has to hit a cushion after contact. That one did not. Good call by Viv, our referee. And Jack Whelan now with a huge chance to go 1 from home.
So he must have been able to see an edge of that yellow, because if it was a total snooker, then he wouldn't have had to hit the cushion afterwards. So yeah, yet another twist. I can take much more tonight.
No. Yeah, me both. First match, if you missed it, David Adonal squeaking past Toby Bolt by the skin of his teeth. It was 5-1 up, it got to 5-5, and we had the most crazy of final frames that we've seen in the entire tournament.
Yep, it's certainly one you need to watch back. It just had everything in with that one frame. Left himself a little thin, but
what you'd expect him to make, he'd rather not be playing this. It is a bit thin. Originally, I think he's okay. He originally was looking to screw that and then just changed his mind and played it a bit more dead weight. I think that was the right call. Just about held for the black. He's just about forced the black. And he's just about there in tonight's final. It's 5-4 to Jack Whelan.
yeah, there's been a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes by both players, and as you see there, it's 5-4 to Jack. But it's Craig's break, so you know, the break and dish 5-all, as we know, last frame deciders. Absolutely anything is possible.
Craig has been frustrated in recent frames. Has not had it easy.
Well, he's 50% dry on his breaks tonight, which is not a stat he'll be pleased with at all.
Yeah, and also he's not broken dished when he's had a ball in either. It's been a strange night for Craig Marsh. You'd say Jack's had marginally the more chances, which is maybe reflected in the scoreline.
Yeah, I think Jack on another day
Frame
would
number
have had this
10,
match
Craig
done
Marsh
and
to
dusted
break,
by now.
trailing 4 frames to 5, time running.
When he had the fortunate white that jumped out of the pocket. Wow.
It's a knowing nod, isn't it? It's a nod that says, yeah, this isn't my night. Again, it's a great break. Look at the movement on the balls. It's incredible one's not gone in. And it's all he can do is now to hope that Jack Whelan doesn't take these out. You'd fancy him though. These yellows are all absolutely wide open.
You would.
But we have had the most bizarre night of Champions Cup action we've had so far. Nothing is off the table tonight. We've had it all.
And a bit more.
Oh, fucking Jesus. Oh, now. Well, I do offer you apologies if you caught any profanity there. But,
Well, he just missed it.
White.
We were right behind the shot, and it was always missing. Don't think he got a kick. I mean, they're asking for the white cleaning, Craig is, but didn't detect anything.
I think Jack is taking the opportunity to re-watch that shot again on the screens around the venue
Time
here.
running.
Just to check if you really missed it. It was all there for him. The frame, the match, the semi-final.
The sole Englishman.
Now Craig Marsh has to take these out. He is at the point where there are no more margins for error.
into the centre, bottom right. Then one into the bottom left. Bring the white over for his final ball down the rail into the same pocket in the black. His last 3 pots will all probably go in the same bag. If he's a little bit straight there, he wanted to leave himself a tiny little bit of angle. If he's straight, then he's going to have to screw back, so he's not going to have great. Yeah, he's not going to have great position.
Horrible position.
Is he going to get there?
Oh,
he's not even got there.
Goodness me. Even Craig Marsh is seeing the funny side of this. What a night. I can't believe it.
He was a little bit tentative on that one. You could see he was a little bit jabby, not his normal, usual fluent stroke. He's going to try and flick this in though.
Oh, it's not the end of the world. He waves it off.
He's not smiling now.
But it's not necessarily the end. That black now doesn't go in that corner pocket. He's not out of this frame just yet. He's not out of this match just yet. Jack Whelan has a second chance in this frame that he scarcely deserves after missing a rudimentary pot.
Now I wonder if Jack is tempted to put this one into the top right hand corner and send the white down towards the red and the black and try and just disturb something.
He's looking at it, isn't he?
He should
be looking at.
Yeah, he should be on a shot because he's got the red that's up there as well. Can he get the nudge? He's got the nudge. He's played it well.
It's a brilliant shot. And it's probably the shot that's going to win in the match. It should be now.
Well, it should be. But we said that. Oh, wow, he used all the pocket there. Just for a minute, a split second, I bet he thought he'd missed it.
Big intake of breath.
Even for an ex-world champion, the nerves are still jangling. Shows how much it means.
Jack Whelan is 2 shots away from a place in tonight's semi-final, the quarter-final of the Champions Cup. 2 very simple pots. We've seen some madness in the Champions Cup tonight, but surely Jack Whelan is there now for the match. He's done it, and Jack Whelan makes his way through to the quarterfinals of the Champions Cup at the expense of Craig Marsh. Another crazy match here in the Champions Cup. It went to and fro from Whelan to Marsh and back in the end to Jack Whelan. A crazy match once more.
Yep, and a strange match in many ways. It never quite took off how I expected it to do. Jack was the dominant player, but they could never quite pull away just until the end. Craig was hanging in there, using all his experience and just picking up the scraps that Jack was leaving. And you know, ultimately, I guess Craig's break just cost him. You know, he wasn't really getting to the table much, and you know, 3 dry breaks out of 5 is not something he's going to be pleased about.
No, not at all. Jack Whelan makes his way through to tonight's final, the quarter-final of the Champions Cup. We'll hear from him next, and we will have that match.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Do you mind if I ask you about that? I'd rather not. Okay. Do you mind if I'm named? We'll pop you about here, mate, if that's alright. We can see you like living every shot, like.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
A very warm welcome back to Solihull IPA Freesports Champions Cup with the winner of our second semi-final tonight, Jack. A huge congratulations, a big win over another former world champion. The standard of this Champions Cup has required you to play some really good pool. How pleased were you with the result?
Yeah, I'm pleased with the result. Obviously, the way we both played wasn't great, but sometimes you just got to take it where you can because you don't get many chances like that to beat someone like Craig. Playing like I had a lot of run compared to him, and you could tell with the breaks he weren't getting the balls, and I was. But it's just one of them where you just got to try and dig in, and things are going wrong, but you still got to try and keep on battling away. It's just the way it is.
We could see throughout the match, through your facial expressions, you seem to be living every single ball, and it was one of those where it felt like you really had to work very hard.
Yeah, I've not been practicing a great deal, and obviously with the Premier Leagues coming up, and I'm looking to get a wild card really, so Kev. But no, if I win this tournament, I can. Well, I've got a great chance to put my name in the hat for it. So that's all I'm looking for. If I don't win it, then I'm probably not going to be in the Premier League. So I do really need to win the tournament.
Well, we are looking forward to seeing you in tonight's final. All the very best of luck. Congratulations.
Cheers, thank you.
And a reminder of just how Jack got there. Well, there we have it. That's how he got there. What a match it was. Two fantastic semi-finals tonight, and we're expecting a brilliant match in tonight's final. And it's David Adonal versus Jack Whelan. Isle of Man versus England. And it really has been a crazy night. We've had drama right to the very end of both of the matches. Frustration for our two losers who felt like they were deserving of more, and relief really for our winners. No real celebration. David Adonal was far too stressed to enjoy his victory. Jack Whelan feels like he didn't play anywhere near his best level. But either way, they are both in tonight's final, the quarter-final, the final quarter-final of the Champions Cup 2018. I mentioned in his interview there, Jack Whelan is wanting to qualify for the Premier League. He feels this competition is his best chance of doing just that. And if he can beat the top players when he's not playing particularly well, Kev, he's got a chance of going all the way and doing just that in this tournament.
Well, he certainly has. You know, he's a class act, and you know, the sign of a great player is winning those matches when you're just not quite at your best. And you can see the signs are there, and he's probably a bit frustrated himself that he didn't win that match a lot more comfortably than he did. But at the end of the day, he's through, and he's one match away from finals night. So he's done the first step. Now he's just got to finish the job off. But as we've seen, David Adonal is going to be no pushover. You know, if you look at the first part of that match against Toby, he was absolutely unplayable. So if he can rediscover that form, then we're in for a great match.
You just saw there Jack Whelan examining his right hand. He did speak to us about it. We mentioned it on the commentary, looking back as he was due to break, and we'll see it here as well. Jack Whelan breaking first. Just have a little watch, you'll see it. It's not a usual thing that he does. You'll see him just take a little look back before he breaks, just there. And then cue through. And the reason for that is he's got a small cut in between his thumb and his finger, which is a pretty big deal for a pool play. Of all the places you want a cut, it's not there, and because of that, he can't break at full power. He can't grip the cue with his thumb, So he has to guide it with his thumb and hold it with his 4 fingers, which is why he's taking extra care to look back and making sure he's timing through the break. It's why he says he's not crunching them like he usually does, and it's why he'll think he's not potted a ball there. It's dry, and it's a first chance for David Adonal.
Yeah, it could be a major factor in this match. We'll see how it evolves, but yeah, it's not great if you can't hit the biggest shot in the frame with the maximum power, and it could come back to bite him. But no, that's a great shot from David.
Oh, it's a good recovery, yeah. He initially was a little out of position off that first shot, and there's a chance he could be again. He might have a shot to the left middle as we look at it. That might be taken up. He might have to go all the way down the rail here.
Yep, I think he's taking the rail shot. It looks good. Looks very good, and he looks like he's in the zone again as he was at the beginning of his last match. And I'm sure Jack, you know, he was watching that first match. He'll be well aware of how well David's playing. They have played recently. They played up in Scotland, I think. And Jack won that match quite convincingly. I think it was 8-2. And in this race to 6 with the shot clock. It's I think this match could go either way.
Yeah, I did mention that to Jack before we spoke to him for our interview just there, and warned him that David would be gunning for him even harder after that last result, to which he gave a bit of a cheeky laugh.
Yeah, David's just run out of position there. That red doesn't go past the yellow into the centre. I think he's going to have to pull out a double. He's not got a full back to aim at, and I think he's hit the yellow.
And I have to say, that break was just felt like he was always chasing it. Right from the very start, his first shot was out of position, and whilst he was playing some really good pots to get him out of trouble, he was always chasing it. And it seldom ends well. We see it so often.
Yeah, I thought he'd done the hard work and got himself back into position, but then just lost the white ball a little bit on that positional shot, and left himself a really difficult double. And you know, these are the chances that Jack will be looking to put away. So perfect positional shot there from Jack. Just frame at his mercy now. Choice of yellows, but I suspect he'll take this one into the corner. 6 dotted white. In all its glory. And this is just routine now for Jack.
It looked very easy, and this is what David was really hoping for when he came to the table, but he never got the opportunity to settle with the white ball. He always had to play a difficult shot. Jack there made that look simple. And for a player of his ability, it was simple. this is his recent tournament history. You mentioned he had a good run in Scotland, got to the quarters of both the Open and the Professional. He beat David Adonal on his way in an 8-2 win in the Professional. And, back in March up in Aberdeen. And he's had a good run recently. Semi-final of the English Professional as well. We've seen a renaissance for Jack Whelan.
Yeah, we certainly have. And throughout this year, he's certainly rediscovering the form of 2015 when he was pretty much unplayable at the World Championships. He was fully deserved winner, and no one could really get close to him, to be fair. So yeah, he lost in the semi-finals to Jordan Shepherd, and Jordan Shepherd went on to win the title. So he lost to the eventual winner. Probably not much consolation to him, but Jordan Shepherd was another player who was rediscovering some great form that week.
Well, that's come up dry from David, and it's a slightly messy table, this. You can see there a cluster forming at the bottom of the shot as we look at it, the right-hand side cushion, and that's where the pack didn't quite explode, and that's where the balls have ended up pretty clustered. Now that's a miss, I think. Jack Whelan, yeah, tell by his reaction, that's a bizarre miss. Did not expect him to miss a shot that simple.
Yeah, he was trying to force the issue a little bit there. Keegan was a little bit hampered, but he was trying to make the pot and disturb a couple of those yellows on the side rail. But just on David's break, you noticed that there was not many balls that were moving around the table. There was a good 7 or 8 balls that just didn't go anywhere, and then there was maybe 3 or 4 that were just running around a bit as they do. So yeah, didn't get as much into that break as say Craig Marsh, who every ball has got some energy behind it and gives himself more opportunities if you can do that to put a ball from the break.
Slightly tactical start to this frame then. Neither really, I don't think, want to be reds with the way they are lined up. But it is open table, I think. It's, so options for both.
If David got that very close to the cushion, that's a pretty good shot. So I think he's going to force Jack to bring the white towards us as we're looking there. He can't just tickle up behind that red. So
yeah, this is where black ball rules come into play, because you have to hit the cushion after contact, of course.
Yep.
So you can't just run it behind. It stops negative, super negative play like this going on for too long.
Absolutely. Yeah. But if Jack's got to, he might have to dig down on this, and that might affect his hand. I'm not sure.
Extension, please.
His thumb could be a little bit of jip. He's played that well. He's played that really well.
Terrific cueing, that. And I think now, for certain, yellows are the ball. Every ball now pretty much has a pocket.
They certainly are. It's just potting that first one. And
it's a race to pot it, isn't it? And it's amazing, because obviously usually with a safety battle, both players have an assigned colour. They're both going to assume they're yellows. That's what they're playing safe on.
I mean, there is a potential plant that David could play. But that's it. I'm not sure about that shot from David. He's just really handed yellows over to Jack and just said, there you go.
Yeah, I think he wanted to get in behind the reds, but now he failed to do that. There was a yellow to the middle pocket, or indeed to the end of the table. Goes to the middle, splits those yellows, and the frame just starts to open up for Jack. It's a little fiddly.
Yeah, that's not come out as good as he would have liked. I think he's probably just going to have to play this one into this corner bag. That's the only shot he's got on.
Really good controlled shot there.
And now this could be his development shot, so he could look to take the one. He's not taking it yet. When does he want to go for it? So at some point he's going to have to put this one into this corner bag and then just try and knock that yellow out. The only danger is that he may not leave himself on a shot, so he may take this yellow that's nearest the black first, just to clear the path, and then to play the development shot. Okay, looks like what he's going to be doing. I'll judge this. He can either play it. Could almost play it plain ball, maybe a little touch of left hand side to go directly into the yellow off the cushion as he's looking there, or he could play it with bottom and just try and, you know, take the white towards the red and try and knock the red away. Just depends how he feels he wants to play it. He'll play it one of two ways. If he plays it with bottom, it's the safer option because he's bound to hit the red. But if he judges this right and kisses the yellow, it could offer better reward.
Well, I think it's okay. I think it goes into the middle. But it's how he gets on it. He wanted to hit it fuller.
He's got the double if it doesn't go.
Yeah, takes it on. Really good shot. And it's going to be 2-zip in no time at all from Jack Whelan, who is on the march in the quarter-final. It's 2-0.
Yeah, that was an excellent finish there from Jack.
Can David respond? This is his recent tournament history, and you can see last 16 of round 2, I should say, of the Scottish Professional. Jack Whelan is in there. That was the last time these two players met. Did have a great run to the quarters of the English Professional, where he ran into an inspired Jordan Shepherd, who hasn't at some point. And
Yeah, beat David Adonal in the quarters and then Jack in the semis. He really was a man on a mission that weekend. But I think you know, David's form is synonymous with, you know, how he did in the Champions Cup, and he's built on that. He's gained the confidence of his victory in that qualifier, and you've seen there in his results as a result of that, you know, that additional confidence that he's playing with. And there's the head-to-head, 8-2 as we said in the event up in Aberdeen.
Jack Whelan to break, leading 2 frames to 0. Time running.
Which is a very long drive if anyone's interested.
And I think we'll believe you. And you can see, just making sure everything's in line. A technique break this from Jack, but you can't give it everything. You just see, this is why he's got one of the best breaks. His technique is flawless,
white.
but the white's going to get kicked in. That's incredibly unlucky. It really is.
1 free shot, 1 visit. Time running.
You can see here, he's got a good break. And actually, in another form of unluckiness, it would have been a dry break.
Yeah, he's probably giving these breaks, I would say, about 70–80% because of the hand injury. You can see him looking at his hand there. It's just in a really sensitive part of his thumb. And he's just just conscious he doesn't want to aggravate it, and it's just taking a bit off the brake. On his 2 breaks so far, he's dry and fouled, so he may just have to try and go through the pain barrier a little bit if he wants to improve on his braking stats.
In fairness to him, the 2 breaks have been on objectively good ones. He's just not made a ball. The split was fantastic in that second one. Not sure how he didn't make a ball, and not sure part 2 how the white went in. But such is the luck, and David Adonal here is looking to punish that. He's got to play a couple of quite clever shots here. The red will go into the bottom right-hand corner past that yellow. You can see there, it does squeak past, but you just got to make sure he gets on it and then gets onto his next ball.
Yeah, I'm just pretty much playing ball, but that's wow. It's only the speed that's allowed that to go in. It'd just come off the rail a bit. Any harder, that wouldn't have gone in. We've seen these pockets tighten up on this match table over the past 3 or 4 weeks. It's had a bit more use.
Over the past 3 or 4 hours as well.
Didn't quite get into that one enough, but he should be okay.
The first frame will always be a bit of a nerves wrestler as well. David will be keen to get this under his belt. Get it out of the way.
I think he can play it with a lot of check side. Yeah, he could just check that white back. And he's got this easy black to get back, right back into this match.
And into the match he comes. First frame on the board. And it's 2-1, and just like that, he's now got a break, and it could so easily be 2-2. This is how he's got to this stage. He doesn't do things the easy way, David Adonal. He's had it all in this Champions Cup so far. 6-5 against Gary Clark, 6-4 against Gareth Hibbert, 6-5 versus Toby Bolts, TBC versus Jack Whelan.
Yeah, that was almost a comfortable victory over Gareth Hibbert, 6-4.
Yeah, and speaking of comfortable victories, Jack Whelan only really had one. 6-4 against Matt Ward was a tough game. Alex O'Donoghue, he was just excellent. 6-2, and he looked the business. Craig Marsh was about as comfortable as a 6-4 could go. Craig really unlucky at multiple points in that match, but I don't think we saw the best of him either when he was at the table too.
Yeah, Craig will be on the way home now thinking about those 3 dry breaks out of 5, and what a cruel game it is. But you just got to take the medicine sometimes, and I'm sure we'll see him again soon in the Premier League. He's one of the direct qualifiers based on his ranking. So
well, let's just touch on the Premier League here. It seems like an opportune moment to do so as we see the break from David Adonal. Not exactly what he was hoping for, especially after we mentioned it was a chance to make it 2-2. So Jack at the table. Premier League, really exciting. Talk us very briefly through the format, what we can expect to see on Freesports, and what players we can expect to see.
Okay, so it's the top 9 elite players, so the top 5 from the professional rankings. Then we've got 3 professional qualifiers, of which we know 2. And then we've got a wild card which we'll be announcing a week today, once the final qualifier has been played. So those 9 players will play over each other over 8 weeks, and they'll play best of 8 frames. And at the end of week 9, the bottom 3 players will be eliminated, and the top 6 will play off each other over best of 6 frames. It's going to be fast and furious. And then at the end of those 3 weeks, we go to the final week, week 13, where the top 4 will play off in the semis and the final. The players' qualified so far, if I remember rightly. We've got the pro number 1, Mark Farnsworth. We've got the world champ, Ben Davis, Neil Raybone, Liam Dunster, Craig Marsh, and 2 of the qualifiers are Mark Boyle and Gareth Hibbert. We've got 1 more qualifier in Northampton on Saturday, and then, as I said, we'll announce the wild card, and there will be the 9 players who will take part in the first ever Freesports Premier League.
Really excited to have it here on Freesports. I think the Monday nights have become pool nights, and it's now time for Wednesday nights to become pool nights.
Yep, Wednesdays will become the new Mondays, and
I don't know if you're going to make that stick, if we're honest. Wednesdays are becoming the new Mondays. Well, we'll give it a go.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how the tagline goes.
But looking forward to, obviously we've got the final of the Champions Cup next Wednesday, where we'll be playing in the brand new Freesports Arena that's been under construction over the past 4-6 weeks, and yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. So that'll be unveiled next week, and then we'll be using that for the Premier League. We start the 17th of July, so we get a couple of weeks holiday, and then we're back at it for the Premier League for 13 weeks.
Non-stop pool on your screens here on Freesports from some of the best Blackpool players around. Jack Whelan expressing his wish to be in that Premier League. Feels a good performance in this tournament, is his route into it. Obviously won't get you to speculate on that, Kev. But what I will get you to speculate on is his position in this frame, because it's not easy for him with these 2 yellows.
Yep, he's got the shot into the top corner. Now, can he screw back? Just can't quite see. Yeah, he wants to leave that white just on that centre pocket knuckle, but this is going to need absolute precision. I'm just wondering if he can actually screw back onto the red and the white can come below the centre bag. So the white is going to screw onto here, then I think he can just play it down there.
Wow, what a top shot.
What top pen mark in there.
Beautifully done. Beautifully done from Jack Whelan. And David Adonal there, maybe on his break, just missing a good chance to really apply some pressure in this quarter-final.
Yeah, the breaks have been interesting. We've had 4 breaks and 3 have been dry and 1's been a foul. So nobody's getting the advantage that they're normally accustomed to with the breaks.
Yeah, Jack has had the lion's share of the chances, and he has taken out the lion's share of the frames. He leads by 3-1. 1 more to go until the break, and if Jack can make it 4-1, he will be a big, big, big favourite to make his way through to finals night next week.
Yeah, but as we saw, a 5-1 lead guarantees you nothing in Champions Cup world.
Just ask David Adonal.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, we're talking the Premier League and the wild card, and you know, there's a lot of speculation, a lot of chatter who's going to get that wild card. You know, it's going to be a really difficult decision for the IPA team to make for when we announce it, because you know, there's some absolutely fantastic players who, you know, are not in the 8 and who are not in the 7 and who won't be in the 8 once the last qualifier is played. So either way, it's a winner for Paul.
Yeah, there's not a single bad player. I'll tell you what, Jack's break's giving him some issues. You can see he's getting good splits, but that one, he knew as soon as he hit it that he was struggling to make a ball, and again he just goes back to the hand there.
I mean, if Jack does get through this match, he's got a week to for that hand to repair, so that he can get back to giving these brakes 100%. He's going to struggle to win the title next week if he's only braking at 70% and just coming up dry.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. He's going to struggle to beat David Adonal if he can't put a ball on his brake. Oh, that looks a little wide. Oh, what a costly miss that could be. As it stands, I think he's got away with it. So I don't think Jack can make a pot. You can see, as soon as he contacted it, it was iffy. But yeah, I think he's got away with it. At least for now.
Yeah, still in the box seat, but you know, as we've seen, if you give your opponent a shot, then anything is possible. Jack will be looking to conjure something up. There's some sort of plant on. He's got a good white. He's got a very good white ball.
Yeah, I think that was his strategy.
So any mistake from David, and Jack is going to be in.
See him there just favouring that hand. It's giving him some grief. It's a pretty important body part for a pool player. Might seem like quite a very slight injury, but it's a very important area of the body.
Absolutely, and you can see the effect it's having on his brake.
Oh, has David got away with another one? He has. Hand comes up from the man from the Isle of Man. He misses a difficult billiard shot, and the way that white's come out, well, how's your luck? It's in for David Adonal.
I think Jack can see the yellow on the right hand side. Can he pot that? The white isn't stuck to the red, so I think he's got this shot on. If he pots this, he's got a great chance to go 4-1 ahead.
Yeah, he could just squeeze it through. And this is now an excellent chance.
That was a great shot under pressure. Absolutely rock solid.
Yeah, terrific shot that. Could be a frame winner. Should be a frame winner. Just have to make sure with these ones.
Oof, just got past that yellow.
Nicely done.
He'll just have to take the, well, he's got choices.
I think he'll take the one to the left middle and take the top yellow to the bottom pocket as we look at it now. No, in fact, he's going to swing it around. As we mentioned, he had choices, and he looks pretty perfect to be on the black here. It's going to be 4-1, and David Adonal had this feeling in his semi-final. And now he's going to have to feel the heat himself, because Jack Whelan has got all the cards here as we look ahead to the final session of play tonight. David Adonal trails by 4 frames to 1. Jack Whelan just 2 away. Can he secure his place on finals night? We'll find out next.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
6. David Adonal to break, trailing 4 frames to 1. Time running.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Welcome back. You join us at a very crucial juncture. David Adonal needs to win this frame to keep himself in with a shout of securing a place in the semi-finals of the Champions Cup. Needs to get on the black. It's a really good effort. You can see there Jack Whelan in the top corner tapping his knee. It's a brilliant shot, that. Deserves to win the frame. How's the pot? It's brilliant. David Adonal stays alive. It's 2-4. And that was a high pressure shot. And I'm glad we were back in time to see that transition from the yellow to the black, because that's a fantastic positional shot.
Well, he did something that nobody else has done in the match so far, and that was firstly to pot a ball from the break, and it just shows what can happen when you do that, because he's gone on to break and dish.
This is what they're playing for, a place in our semi-finals against Ronan McCarthy. It's not going to be easy for them. It's not going to be easy for them. However, they're in the semi-final. They're in the semi-final. You've always got to shout. And both of them, on their day, perfectly capable of beating anyone.
Frame number 7,
includes
Jack Whelan to break, leading 4
Ulsterman.
frames to 2.
Yeah, and Ronan
Time
showed
running.
that he was human. On his last outing, he actually lost a frame. So there's hope for whoever plays him.
Just wonder if... You notice Jack didn't look behind him. I think he gave the break a lot more there. I think he threw caution to the wind a bit.
But same result.
Yeah. And you saw from his facial expression, it sort of had the air of someone going, fair enough then. If I'm not potting with that, then I'm not potting.
It's just sometimes you can't do anything about it. And you know, there was a lot of balls moving there from the break, but nothing really threatened the bag. Possibly one near the middle, it just hit the knuckle. But yeah, we just gotta. You know, if you're gonna break dry, that's when you want to do it. When you're 4-2 up. It was a good time, but at least you know whatever happens in this frame, he'll still be ahead. So the pressure's still on David. So he's going to look to develop that yellow, that red. That's near the 2 yellows straight away, attacking that.
Yeah, it says something about the nature of that break. There wasn't really a bad ball for him to go at there. He could have easily chosen yellows and been pretty happy.
Yeah, not sure if you can see the red just above the black into this bottom right hand corner.
I think he can. That's what he's looking at. Yeah, it drops it in. He has got his issue, and it's mainly surrounding that red in the middle of the table, just to the left of centre. Can get him behind it, but it requires precise position.
Yes,
And it requires potting that ball.
just hit the near knuckle.
Oh, that could be a really important miss.
Jack was straight up out of his seat as soon as he realised that that hadn't dropped. It was close, but just not close enough. I said earlier that these bags have certainly tightened up.
And at this stage of the match, that is, well, it's the sort of pot that you have to make. It's not a difficult shot, that. It's a bad miss from David.
It is. I think he probably thought he'd done the hard work in the frame. Just took his eye off it. Didn't expect to miss that. Oh my goodness me.
Goodness me. Wow. Well, I think that's remarkable.
Goodness me. Wow. What haven't we seen tonight? We've seen some strange things happen tonight.
Watch David Adonal's face here.
He's speechless.
I believe that's a colon and an O on a. Oh goodness me! Wow. We said this before after the semi-finals tonight. We really have seen it all. But that's remarkable. That is remarkable. And what causes that, Kev? Because it's usually quite a rare phenomenon. We've seen it twice tonight.
Well, I'm not quite sure, to be honest. I know the table manufacturers tried to address it some time ago, and to a certain extent they had. But tonight we've seen a couple of instances of just incredible cue ball and object ball behaviour, and I'm sure there's people out there who'll be chatting about those two on social media. And yeah, it's just bizarre.
Well, David Adonal missed a dolly. You can see it's right in the heart of the pocket.
It doesn't actually hit the bottom of the pocket. I think it goes round the pocket and comes back out.
Well, David Adonal, as I was just saying, missed a dolly at the start of that frame to let Jack in. It should be 5-2. It isn't. David Adonal's right in it. Just have a little watch of this. You can see it goes past the knuckles, into the pocket. No. It's just quite remarkable. We often use the phrase, it's wiped its feet. That one didn't. It barged the door down. Don't need to be repelled back out again.
Yeah, it just horseshoed round the pocket. It's yeah, it's a little bit speechless.
I'm going to get my GCSE physics teacher on the blower and asking him to come give me some expert opinion.
Yeah, I think that's what we need. Just going to have another look here.
Frame number 8.
Thinking at this point,
David
I've hit
Adonal
that
to
absolutely
break.
perfect.
Trailing 4
It's
frames
just-
to 3.
Well, it's done a hop, skip and a jump and just... Wow.
The reaction from David really does say it all. He's right behind that. Now, if the pool gods are just and fair, he'll come up dry, and he does. Well, Jack Whelan will be thinking, at least Dick Turpin wore a mask. But he's back in, and he will really mean business on this visit. He's not letting this one get away from him. David Adonal's got a smile on his face. He knows the last frame was a total gimme.
Yeah, he must be thinking his name's on the trophy after what happened there. I mean,
He's had quite the night tonight, is David Adonal.
I mean, for all the money in China, it was looking like 5-2 Jack and routine few yellows to pot, and then wow, the pool gods have been putting some overtime in tonight. And even though David's gone dry, he's left nothing easy at all.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Yellows may be the choice, but he can't take one on now. The only pot he's got is a red, and he's not going to take it. He's going to play safe. I think he wanted to be yellows.
I think he's got a phobia about that pocket, and he didn't want to take the chance of going for the pot. In case
Quite equally possible.
he's still got the mental scars from the last frame and just couldn't bring himself to go for a pot into that corner bag that cost him that last frame.
Well, I think he's going to be calling for a steward's inquiry if he doesn't get through here. Either that, or he's going to leave the building and come back with a box of matches.
That shot doesn't make the highlights package, then I'd be surprised. But it was a little bit careless from Jack because he on the safety shot, he wasn't really thinking about where he was leaving the white ball, and he just left David a pretty easy plant, and now he's really let him have first go at this clearance. So
And it's there for him as well.
yeah, it's just all about one positional shot. As long as it doesn't stick on that yellow, he should be okay. Yeah, I think he's okay there.
And David's a scrapper. We saw him lead from the front in his semi-final tonight against Toby Bolt. Oh, that's not going to go. Oh, how's your luck? Jack Whelan was almost out of his chair.
Yeah, just enough gravity for that
How
one
does
to
that
drop.
shot go in and the one before not? Answer me that.
You need to play them off the knuckles.
Oh, goodness me. That was closer to the middle pocket than it was the corner.
I think somebody just sneezed and just blew that one in. So he's got a little bit of work to do here. This is This is not straightforward. Anything tonight is straightforward.
I was just about to say we haven't done straightforward tonight. It's not going to happen. Giving up on that. The frames have flown by. It's been a really quick night of pool, considering we've got a 6-5 and a 6-4. We look like we're going quite far in this one. Yeah, likely to slightly overrun. I wanted finish time of 10:30, but fear not. We will stick with the action here on Freesports. You don't take your eyes off this.
Well, this is all about the weight.
Pretty good.
Thought he may have just tried to try and get in behind that red and then just leave himself a couple of options. So I mean, if he goes for this into the middle bag, this is ultra thin. I mean, he could go to the bottom rail, to the bottom right hand corner.
Well, I must admit, I did think the double was on until I saw the yellow blocking the way. This is tough.
He's going for the corner. Oh, it was a good attempt. It was a very good attempt.
It was probably a better attempt than the red he potted in the opposite bottom corner. And a wry smile. I think David Adonal's just accepted that tonight is going to just be weird for him. And you just take what you get. Jack's going to hide the white here and make this difficult. Oh, that's a very, very good shot.
There's certainly going to be lots for him to talk about either way, whatever the result of this match. On the trip back to the Isle of Man.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Well, it's such a good shot from Jack, that, because not only has he got a good white, not only has he hidden the red, he's also taken it out of commission for that pocket as well. Brilliant shot, that.
Yep, two-way shot there. He did a nice little area where he could hide the white behind and then use the yellow to just to nudge the red out the way, and you know, if he does get if he can extract the foul, then he's got a great chance. But he's going to use the knuckles and try and send the white across. Oh, it was a very good attempt.
It was.
1 free shot, 1 visit.
He was unlucky. And the knuckles have been kind to him, generally speaking, tonight. And in this frame, Jack uses his free shot to put the red on the cushion, free up his balls, and this should be 5-3. Surely it's going to be 5-3. Don't trust anything in this match, though. He jumped out as well. Goodness me. Should we not? All Jack can do is just put them in the middle of the pocket and hope for the best. It's all anyone can do. Even that might not be good enough.
Yep, sometimes it helps to hit a knuckle on the way in. But yeah, you know, he seems to have regained his composure now. You know, it must have been pretty unsettling for him to see that happen to him. But you know, he's been around as Jack. You know, he'll have seen all the weird and wonderful things that can happen on a pool table. So you know, the important thing is just to get those out of his mind, just to get this frame on the board and put himself 1 frame away from finals night. To be straight, don't think he is. I think he's got a nice angle. Just going to stun this white behind the black. Yeah, played that well.
Well, he doesn't like this corner pocket.
I think this will be just going in dead weight. Yep.
Don't take any chances, why would you? He's 1 away. 5-3 to Jack Whelan. And he's 1 frame away from a place in the semi-finals. It's been a crazy, crazy game. Realistically, what else did you expect from tonight's final? It's been a bizarre night of pool, We might well yet have a few more frames to come. Jack Whelan will hope there's just one more. He is nearly there.
I'm not sure I can take too much more. If it goes to 5-all, I dread to think what's going to happen if we get into a last frame shootout. But I think the story of this match is the break. I mean, out of the eight breaks, we've had 6 dry and 1 foul, and just a solitary break and dish from David, and they're some crazy stats, and we've not seen anything like that in the Champions League.
That's
not from both players.
Yeah.
All for the 20 weeks.
That's incredible, isn't it? Only 1 break in the match where a ball was potted. That's remarkable.
Yeah, we've seen individual players. I think it was Mark Boyle, was it, who had 5 dry breaks.
A few players would probably tell you similar stories. Craig Marsh, of course, tonight being one of them.
Yeah.
This would be a one where Jack does not want to go dry. He's
certainly
made a ball. Oh, he's made a ball. The white's in the centre of the table. The yellows and the reds are separated. He senses blood.
And not just on his hand, but he's definitely looking at reds here. I think the red that's nearest the yellow will go. That's come out pretty well. That red nearest the yellow does go in that top right, so everything goes. David Adonal has got to be fearing the worst.
Don't give up hope just yet, David. You've seen what this game can do.
Clever shot there from Jack, just a little screw into that little cluster just to open them up a little bit more. He stayed down on that shot. I just wondered if he thought he was missing it. It went in straight in the out of the pocket.
He's 3 balls away. What a time to whip out the best break of the match by a distance. Just going to hold the white. Switch red into the top right. He'll bounce off the top cushion to leave the black. Simple. In the bottom right corner.
He can play it plain ball, or he can spin it round off 2 cushions. Just played it plain ball.
Here we go then. For a place on finals night, Jack Whelan wants the black. And punches it home. What a tremendous performance from Jack Whelan. What a fantastic final between himself and David Adonal. What a night of pool in Solihull. Goodness gracious me. Can't think of another night we've had on the Champions Cup quite like that. In its 20th week, we have seen some scenes tonight. We'll speak to the winner, Jack Whelan, to find out what he quite made of all that after the break.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Looks pretty normal to me, Kev.
Yeah, I think you guys.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Well, we've just about got our breaths back here in Solihull. Welcome back to the IPA Freesports Champions Cup. An incredible final. Jack, a huge congratulations on making it through. A bizarre night of pool at times, but what's your emotions?
Yeah, I'm pleased to get through, obviously. But after the first game against Craig, I thought it could only get better, and I did find another gear really in the final game. But just a break is a bit let us both down really, and it's wrecks the game a little bit when the break doesn't go your way. It's because you're praying for them to make a mistake, and it's not good. Dying, at least with like when you're potting balls off the break, if you make a mistake, it's your fault if you lose. So it's just one of them really.
It was a crazy game. We saw a crazy incident as well, the yellow up to the top pocket. Can you describe your emotions to us when that one went in and came back out again?
Well, I played a shot against Craig where I spun the white in the pocket and he jumped back out. So in theory, I deserved it to come out, but obviously it didn't help the situation that it was in 4-2. Looking like, well, I was going to be 5-2 up, and you're thinking then you've virtually won, and goes 4-3, and if he didn't miss his last ball there, 4-all, it's game on again, isn't it? And he's obviously a very dangerous player, and I really like the way he plays because he attacks the balls, and he's obviously coming from Isle of Man. He's not around the corner, is it? So he's got to travel all the time, and he's doing really well, to be fair to him. Like, congratulations on a good tournament.
And in terms of the rest of the tournament, it's a pretty good lineup next week. Semi-final against Ronan McCarthy, potential final against Liam Dunster, or his opponent Scott Gillespie. Thank you very much. Sorry, Scott. A crazy lineup, 4 fantastic players. How pleased are you to be a part of that, and how much are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I'm pleased to be a part of it. Obviously, you've got to beat all the good players, and no one's going to get that final night if they're not good, because you've got to play too many matches against too many good players. So I fully expected. Well, Scott Gillespie just won a big tournament. Ronan McCarthy's been around since before I was born, and Dunster's obviously probably one of the best players in the world right now. Some of the things he's doing is crazy, really, for saying how young he is, and I'm just pleased to be there. And obviously, if I'm in it, I can still win it. So, but I do need to win it to get in that Premier League.
Well, I wish you all the very best. It was a pleasure watching you tonight. We'll see you next week.
All right, cheers.
Well, what an incredible game that was. What an incredible night that was. David Adonal, 5-1 up against Toby Bolt, got over the line in dramatic circumstances in the semi-final. Jack Whelan beating Craig Marsh in the Battle of the Former World Champions 6-4. And then a crazy final. It summed up the night in many ways in a microcosm. Jack Whelan makes his way through to the Final Four. And what a Final Four it is. Coming up next week, Scott Gillespie versus Liam Dunstan, an all-Scottish semi-final, and Ronan McCarthy takes on Jack Whelan. 4 of the very best players in the business, worthy of the title Champions Cup. one of them will lift it next week. We will see you on Wednesday, 7 p.m. sharp. You would be crazy not to be there. Good night.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.